What's good? This is Trey, and today I want to talk about my secret to seducing women at will. All right. So first, let's define this word, seduce. So when I say seduce, I basically mean to attract in a powerful way. So attract in an effective way. All right. So how to attract women at will, or how to seduce women at will, however you want to put it. So I basically broke this down into like the simplest way I could, put it, right? And like the two main things that I did to get to a point where I can seduce women at will, meaning I don't have a problem getting women. Okay, I just don't. I used to, right? I used to be horrible with women. I used to be super shy and all this stuff. But I overcame that. And the way I was able to do it is two main things. So the first thing I did was I became a sexy archetype. What do I mean by that? I looked at the cards I was given. I looked at my body type. I looked at, the way I look, my communication skills. I looked at me as a character, and I asked myself, how can I make myself sexy? So if you're struggling with women or you're not getting women the way you'd like to, ask yourself that question. How can I make myself sexy? And when I say sexy, I mean you have to believe that you're sexy, right? So if you already believe that you're sexy, then you're good, right? But if you don't believe that, then it's not going to come across in your communication. Because when you're talking to a woman, you want her to feel that you already know you're sexy. You already know you're worthy of her time or her whatever you want from her, right? Relationship with her or whatever. Like, you got to feel worthy. You got to feel like you deserve women. And so I use this word sexy because if you aim for that, you can get yourself to a place where you feel really good about yourself. And then when you go and talk to a woman, it comes across, right? Because I never really make videos or give advice on here's what you say to get a girl and here's what, because it's not about that. It's about who is saying it, right? If a man who believes he is sexy, who feels confident, who feels good, goes up to a woman and says, hey, how you doing? That's all he needs to say. He doesn't have to come up with no pickup line or anything like that. If he feels confident, if he feels sexy, if he feels masculine, it will come across. Not to say he's gonna get every woman, but he's gonna get some women if he goes out, right? So that first thing is, how can I become a sexy archetype? So for me, I worked on my physique, I worked on my communication skills, I worked on my mindset, I worked on my style, I worked on my, my confidence. One of the things I worked on, I didn't know I was doing this, but I worked on becoming grounded in my masculinity, right? So basically getting in my masculine energy, but being grounded in it. So being able to handle tension, being able to, hold my frame when I'm being challenged, right? Not being afraid to be judged, stuff like that. I had to work on that. So the first part is become a sexy archetype, whatever that means to you. I work, every single thing about me was designed, okay? Like the decision to wear this chain, the eyebrow piercing, everything is designed because I was going for, I want to be a sexy archetype. Now, I'm not trying to be somebody else's sexy archetype. There's different versions, right? Like you may say, okay, a rocker is a sexy archetype. A businessman can be a sexy archetype. There's different versions of that. And basically, to me, a sexy archetype is just like a type of guy who gets women. And so you want to become that, but you want to put your own unique spin on it. So you take what you think is sexy and you make it sexy and you put it out there into the world and test it. So that actually goes into the second part. So the first part is create a sexy archetype. The second thing that I did was I got really good at cold approach pickup. So basically, I got really good at being able to go out anywhere and basically approach women, attract them, make them feel comfortable, and then seduce them, right? I got really good at that. And basically, I kind of just went out there, put myself out there. A lot of it is overcoming insecurities, overcoming limiting beliefs. When you go out and talk to women, approach women, you are going to have to face rejection. You are going to have some awkward situations. You are gonna stumble. You are gonna choke up on your words. These things are gonna happen, but you learn how to overcome these things, and this is what develops your character, makes you more confident, makes you more grounded, and makes you more attractive. And then as you do this consistently, you start to pick up on patterns. You start to see what works, what doesn't work, and then you can get to a level where, okay, now you can just go out and do your thing. And so that's what I've been able to achieve. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. You know, if you try to go out there and go and approach women, you've never done this before, it's gonna be tough. Like, I remember when I just started, I would go out there and I would walk around for like an hour or more sometimes, and I wouldn't even talk to anyone because it was so much. I had so much anxiety and nervousness and all this stuff, and I didn't want to get rejected and all of that, right? But it's like, you know, at some point I was like, man, you know, it's either I'm gonna handle this shit or not, you know, because I didn't have a social circle to get women from, right? I didn't really have the social skills to do well in a social circle anyway, because I didn't get a lot of practice. Because in high school and middle school, I just kept to myself. I didn't really talk to any girls like that because I was too shy to do it anyway, right? So I didn't really get much experience. So as I came out of high school, I felt like I was like, you know, lacking in social skills and social intelligence and all that stuff. So I used cold approach to develop that and develop my own style and develop my own, you know, skill set that I can use to handle my dating life, right? So it was an issue, but I handled it, okay? And the two things that I did was I built myself into a sexy archetype, right? So I literally consciously designed how I look. Now, I went for like a kind of stylish, but I don't give a fuck kind of vibe. That's what I went for, right? Because that's what I thought was sexy. So you got to think about what you think is sexy. And I tried out different archetypes. Like, I tried out like being a bit, you know, the businessman kind of look, because I thought that was cool. I did that for some time, and that gets girls, okay? I tried like different archetypes. You got to go with something that you resonate with, right? You don't want to try to be like something that you're not. Like, for example, if you're not a pretty boy, don't try to be a pretty boy. Or if you're not a tough guy, don't try to be a tough guy. Like, find an archetype that works for you and then like develop it, like amplify it, right? So when you start off, it's going to be kind of iffy or whatever, but you just work on it. You keep adding more things. Like, for me, I would say, you know, this archetype that I have right now, it probably just started off with, you know, just the physique or whatever. Then I started working on the accessories, and I worked on, you know what I mean, the piercings and the, you know what I mean? You add on little by little, right? And there's different routes you can go with it, but you go with what you vibe with. Like, for example, I don't have any tattoos because I don't really want any tattoos, you feel me? So I don't have any, right? But you go with what you want, what makes you feel good, what you like, you know, the things you like. You design your character. So instead of just, you know, I see guys, they'll complain about not getting women and stuff like that, but if you look at them, it doesn't even look like they really care, because they don't even really put any like time or effort into their archetype, like how they look and how they present themselves to the world. They just look like they just don't give a fuck. And so it's like, okay, you say you want some women, but like, what are you doing to improve yourself to become more attractive, right? So the one thing I did was I really focused in on how I could become a sexy archetype. Now, when you become a sexy archetype, you're going to be sexy to a certain type of women. Not every woman is going to go for every archetype. And so you have to be aware of that. So when I started doing cold approach, there's some women who are going to respond. You're going to have three types of women. You're going to have yes women, so women that are going to be into you, like maybe you're just their type, or whatever, you just show up at the right place at the right time, whatever. Those are yes women, women that are good, just into you for whatever reason. You have maybe women. Maybe women, these are the women who you're going to actually have to really demonstrate your value to this type of woman, because maybe she kind of likes you, or maybe she has a lot of options or whatever, and you got to figure out how to stand out. And then the third one is no women. So basically, these are women that are just not with it, right? You're just the opposite of her type, or you said or did something that turned off completely, or maybe she's taken already, not sexually available, whatever. And so once you understand how this works, then you understand, okay, it's a numbers game versus your skills, versus your game, right? Versus your ability. So in the beginning, you're playing a big numbers game, right? If you've never done cold approach, you never went out and approached women, you're playing a big numbers game in the beginning, because you're not gonna be super confident about approaching women if you haven't done it before. You're not gonna be super grounded, right? You're not gonna have a great skill set in the beginning. But as you build that up, the numbers game becomes more in your favor, in the sense of, maybe when you start out, you go and talk to 10 women, maybe you'll get like one number. Whereas as you get better, now you go up to 10 women, you get 3 numbers. Now you go to 10 women, you get 5 numbers. You know what I mean? And it keeps going up. And then, obviously the numbers in regards to how many dates you get, how many dates lead to more than a date. You'll see as you go through this process of developing cold approach skills, you'll see improvement, right? But if you're gonna go at it on your own, you can do this. Just know that it's like any other skill or mastering any other art. Like, it's gonna take time. However, I went through this process, many years of trying to figure out how to get results with cold approach pickup, like going out and approaching women in a cold way, in the sense of, she doesn't know who you are, you don't know who she is, but you think she's attractive, and now you're approaching her, right? So this could be in the mall, it could be in a grocery store, it could be in a park, it could be at the beach, it could be wherever. But this is a great skill to have, because now when you have a skill like this, you don't have to rely on social circle, you don't have to rely on luck, you know what I mean? You can actually rely on your ability, your skill, your willpower, whatever. And so those are the 2 things I did. The first one, as I said, sexy archetype. The second one, I got really good at cold approach pickup, right? So if you're interested in becoming a sexy archetype, if you're interested in getting better at cold approach pickup, being able to go out and approach women, attract them, make them feel comfortable, and seduce them, if this is something you're interested in, join the Unbreakable Beast Tribe. It's a group that I created. It's for men who want to get more grounded in their masculinity and want to be more successful with women, want to evolve into the best version of themselves and become the ultimate beast. All right, so I'll drop a link to the group, and I'll see you inside. Peace.